The Ordinary has come out with a new product, a soothing and barrier support serum. Let's discuss. What exactly are we soothing? What exactly are we supporting with this product? Your skin barrier, that's something that you hear a lot about. What is the skin barrier? It's the outermost layer of your skin, and it functions, as the name implies, as a barrier to protect you from the outside world, limiting penetration of irritants, noxious substances, and infectious microorganisms. It also functions to keep moisture in your skin. This is a dynamic structure. Imagine it like a brick wall where the bricks are little corneocytes, which are dead cells that are like little shells there. And the mortar between the bricks is this sort of lipid and protein glue that adheres the corneocytes together. Do you need to be supporting, soothing, and repairing your skin barrier actively? Not necessarily. However, there are a variety of situations that definitely challenge the skin barrier and increase transepidermal water loss, meaning barrier integrity is compromised, so more water gets out. That leads to dryness, and it also leads to enhanced penetration of things that can be irritating. This is most notable for people who have certain underlying skin conditions. With age, the skin barrier's function declines a bit, making us more vulnerable to transepidermal water loss, dryness, and irritation. And then, of course, our skin is faced with a wide array of environmental aggressors that it has to cope with on a daily basis that can leave our barrier weak, making it more vulnerable to water loss. These include ultraviolet radiation, pollution, wind, tobacco smoke, weaken the integrity of the skin barrier. Things that you put on the skin may cause a lot of irritation, whether that be your skincare products, your makeup, or maybe a prescription medication. All of these things can lead to barrier disruption, increases in transepidermal water loss, and irritation. Signs that you have an impaired skin barrier include heightened sensitivity, redness, dryness, irritation. I cover a lot of these in my videos on signs you have a damaged skin barrier, so check that out if you want more details on that. So now that you have some background on what the heck you're going to be targeting with this product, what exactly is in this? This product has compounds from the plant Centella asiatica, or the Asiatic pennywort, gotu kola, whatever you want to call it. It has a lot of different names. This is a plant that grows in the swamp in many countries throughout Asia. It has a wide variety of compounds that might be beneficial, not just for your skin, but potentially for your health, although more research is needed. Specifically, it has a class of compounds called pentacyclic triterpenoids.
What?
Asiaticide, asiatic acid, and madecassic acid. Those come from Centella. A lot of the research that we have on these compounds for skin benefit comes from looking at them in cells in a dish. That's called an in vitro study. So it doesn't take everything into account with how real world conditions might be or what these compounds might be helpful for. Although we do have some evidence that these compounds are helpful for healing wounds. They've been shown to improve the tensile strength of a wound and to improve collagen production. Now, what that means for you as somebody who has an impaired skin barrier, it's really hard to tell because these compounds really haven't necessarily been rigorously vetted and tested in people who have skin barrier issues. And in a population that would, be of interest in, I'm specifically thinking of would be somebody who has atopic dermatitis. They have a problem with their skin barrier, and that is one of the root causes of their disease. 0.1% madecassoside combined with 5% vitamin C in a clinical study on older adult women has been shown to improve skin elasticity, firmness, and dryness. This product also has 2% niacinamide. Niacinamide is a B vitamin I'm rather fond of. It has multiple established benefits for the skin. It's a great cosmetic skincare ingredient. It's helpful for dark spots, but it's also helpful for the moisture barrier. 2% strength niacinamide, which is what is in this product, has actually been shown to improve the signs and symptoms of rosacea, which again is a condition where you do have a problem with the skin barrier. And applying niacinamide to the skin can improve production of some of the mortar components like ceramides and filaggrin. Speaking of filaggrin, people who have atopic dermatitis, they have a skin barrier problem, and part of the reason for that is they have defective filaggrin, which is an integral part of barrier function. So there's some evidence that applying niacinamide may boost up your skin's production of filaggrin, which is a good thing for your skin barrier. Niacinamide is also anti-inflammatory. It's been shown to inhibit production of cytokines, so it may be of benefit for reducing irritation to the skin barrier from surfactants found in like cleansers, skincare products, as well as irritation from topical medications like tretinoin. Speaking of which, tretinoin, which is a topical retinoid, I have lots of videos on. You guys know from those videos and from your own personal experiences that it's pretty irritating in the beginning when you first start using it. Well, when it was used with a niacinamide moisturizer, people got better results. They were better able to tolerate their tretinoin, probably because of the barrier supporting effects of niacinamide. So logical ingredient right there. This also has phytic acid in it, which is an antioxidant that may help to aid in exfoliation, which I know what you're thinking, like, if the barrier is impaired, why would we want to go exfoliating it? Sometimes when there's barrier impairment, you have those corneocytes, the bricks, that kind of get heaped up, and ultimately the barrier is ineffective because of that. So phytic acid may help in softening and gently exfoliating that away, smoothing the skin surface and improving barrier function. Plus it's an antioxidant, which helps combat oxidative stress that could weaken the barrier. Epigallocatechan galateal gallate, that is a bioengineered version of epigallocatechan gallate, EGCG, a green tea polyphenol, which is anti-inflammatory. There's evidence to support that this compound helps cut down on damage to the skin upon exposure to ultraviolet radiation. Its anti-inflammatory effects, again, can be beneficial in the setting of helping to restore barrier function by reducing inflammation. Naringenin, that's a mouthful. Naringenin is a flavonoid that comes from citrus fruits. It's an antioxidant. There's not much research on this ingredient for applying it to the skin. One might assume it's an antioxidant, surely it's beneficial, but who knows? It could be doing nothing for you. It may also be helpful, as a side note, in stabilizing some of the other ingredients in this formulation. So maybe it's not important for you, but rather it's important for the stability of the formula. All right, the red herring in the room, if you will, is an ingredient, vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 is interesting. Applied to the skin, shows promise for reducing itch and being very soothing. So in line with what the product claims to do, to soothe, topical B12 has actually been examined for that purpose because it may lower nitrous oxide levels. And nitrous oxide is thought to play a key role in itch for people who have atopic dermatitis. And B12 may inhibit nitrous oxide, and it actually has been shown in some small studies to be very beneficial for patients who have atopic dermatitis, which is a condition, again, with an impaired skin barrier, classically very, very itchy skin lesions. So using this product, you may find, is soothing in that regard, and that, if you've got itchy, inflamed skin, itch is a lot more likely, as a side note, when you have problems with your skin barrier, because water is evaporating and irritating stuff is getting in, leading to release of itch signals from little nerves in the skin. Anyway, so you may find that that is soothing. And I say red herring because this product, if you didn't know from the advertising, is red. And that comes from the B12, I'm assuming, because B12 is red. This product has phytosterols, lipids that may help in terms of the mortar component of your skin barrier. Now, one ingredient I want to call your attention to, mostly just because I want to run my mouth about it, is propyl gallate. Now, galates are antioxidant preservatives that are added to skincare products, personal care products, as well as food. They're food additives too. They're preservatives. Now, some people develop allergy to galates. It's not a super common allergy, but it does occur. And importantly, the incidence, meaning the number of new cases of allergy to galates, has increased over the past 30 years or so. Propyl gallate, which is what is in this, is the most widely used gallate. There's also dodecyl gallate and octyl gallate. And I'm telling you about these different galates because if you're allergic to one, you're allergic to all three. I bring this to your attention because, at the beginning of the video, we talked about your skin barrier being impaired and reasons why that might be. And one of those reasons is contact dermatitis. Contact dermatitis is like the most pressing hazard and most pressing risk of using skincare products, is that you develop a dermatitis to them. You can become allergic to one of the ingredients, or you can just be irritated by it. So if you have an impaired skin barrier, you're dealing with issues, I always suggest heavily that you see a board certified dermatologist to make sure you know what's going on, because if you have an impaired skin barrier, you're more likely to become sensitized to ingredients. And propyl gallate is one that, people do develop allergy to. You can develop an allergy to anything, but you're pursuing this product presumably because you have an impaired barrier, it's definitely important to see a board-certified dermatologist to clarify what's going on. Say, for example, you are allergic to phthalates, this is going to make it worse for you. And we do something called patch testing to determine if you're allergic to anything that you're putting on your skin. Phthalates should be included in that. Although they're not always included in patch testing. So the dermatologist has to have a high index of suspicion that is contributory. Where are phthalates found outside of skincare products? Where it historically pops up in cosmetic products the most is in lipsticks, but it can also be found in other makeup products as well. So if you are allergic to it, you may have a facial dermatitis. As far as foods, it's added to peanut butter. It's also added as a preservative to processed cheeses, lard, and a lot of processed foods like frozen pizza often will have propyl phthalate in it. So if you're allergic to it, and you eat it, you can get a rash on the lips. Doesn't usually cause a systemic contact dermatitis. So if you eat that pizza, you're not going to have, you're not going to go into anaphylaxis or any life-threatening allergy. It's not that type of allergy, but yeah, you definitely can get reactions, around your skin from eating foods that have it if you are allergic to it. So just pointing that out, this product also has alkyl glucosides, another allergen. It was named the allergen of the year a few years ago. Not super common, but just something to be aware of. All right, so all that yammering aside, is this any good? Should you go buy it? All right, so I've used it for less than a week. How do you use it? You apply it twice a day per the Ordinary's instructions after cleansing. And it does have a interesting color, again, from the B12. For me personally, this is not a product that I need to be using in my routine or that is beneficial to me, but that doesn't mean that it will not be helpful to one of you. For me personally, I don't really enjoy using this. It feels a little filmy on the skin, but it is fairly moisturizing. You can layer products on over it, like your moisturizer or your sunscreen. It's pretty lightweight. It's very emollient, but at the same time, it's not greasy. I think this would be a nice option if you are dealing with flaky skin, which is a sign of an impaired skin barrier. Using an emollient or a moisturizer and rubbing it in helps those corneocytes, those flakes. Those flakes are barrier, flaking away. It helps to lift that up in a more supportive, logical fashion as opposed to picking it off. And it's also soothing and moisturizing. So you might enjoy it in that regard. If you have developed a lot of irritation under your arms, say from maybe an antiperspirant or whatever, and you've nailed it down that that's the problem and you've stopped using it, but you've got a lot of itch and irritation under the arms, you might find that this is actually very soothing because that B12, again, can help with the itch. And the compounds in the product may help with barrier restoration. Skin barrier issues, they don't just happen on your face. Again, often happen in the skin folds where you have skin-on-skin contact, sweat, which is an irritant to the skin and breaks down the barrier. It's not a bad product. I don't necessarily think you need to run out and buy it. I think maybe, your moisturizer alone could get you some of these same beneficial effects. Many moisturizers out there have antioxidants that are anti-inflammatory. Many have compounds from Centella. For example, the La Roche-Posay Cicaplast Balm does. Off the top of my head though, I'm not aware of a product that has B12 in it. So I would say that's really one of the more interesting things about this is the B12. And I'm kind of surprised what with it being so bright red and visually appealing that they didn't, tell more of that B12 story. But the Ordinary, they don't overhype necessarily their ingredient stories. They just kind of, lay them out there on the label. And, they're pretty conservative in what they market their products to do and not to do, which I actually really appreciate because I hate it when brands are kind of, towing the line of practically a drug claim. Let me know though, have you guys tried it? What do you think? It's $17. I've had no issue with it. It's not irritating to my skin, but again, everyone's skin will respond to something like this differently. I hope this video was helpful to you. Now, if you are a fan of The Ordinary, on the end slate, I'm going to put my last review of several of their newer products. So definitely check that one out. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends. And as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.